This latest piece of news has me pretty ecstatic because it's taken forever to make it into reality. It's a sequel to an old film that I never thought Disney would revisit, no matter how much they promised they would do it. But here we are, 28 years later, after the original movie, and 2 years after they announced they would make a sequel. And they are finally shifting gears on this project. Hocus Pocus 2 is coming together now, that the whole cast, well, the Sanderson sisters, have confirmed they will be returning to cause mayhem again. Bette Midler, who played the eldest Sanderson sister, Winifred, or Winnie as the sisters called her, Sarah Jessica Parker, who played the youngest of the trio, Sarah Sanderson, and Kathy Najimy, who played the middle sister, Mary Sanderson, got on their official Twitter accounts and confirmed they are returning to their now iconic roles. I love the individual messages they posted to confirm they would be reprising their roles. The funniest one is Bette Midler, who makes a reference to the curse that trapped their characters 300 years prior to the first film. Now that's a quality tweet. This isn't the first time that the trio have gotten together to regroup the Sanderson sisters. They did it just last year for a 1-hour virtual broadcast, which raised funds for the New York Restoration Project, a non-profit organization created by Bette Midler that was created to help restore parks and transform open spaces within the 5 boroughs of New York City. The fact that they were able to get together during a pandemic to help out for a good cause is amazing. It shows that after so many years, all 3 women are still close to each other. They are very much family, in and out of character. I imagine it took 2 years after the initial announcement that they were making a follow-up had something to do with contracts, more so than scheduling the actors to be available at the same time for filming. Because they already had a director locked in place to start work on the sequel. All 3 actors are active, doing projects for both television and film, but not so busy that it would delay this announcement by 2 years. When the sequel was announced in 2019, they should have already had the actors on board for this project. Production on the film is expected to begin this fall, with a planned 2022 release date, hopefully set in stone. In the original film, the trio of witch sisters were cursed in 1963, until 300 years later, they are resurrected by Max, a newcomer to Salem, who accidentally releases the witches from their curse. Part of the fun of the first film was seeing them learn about the new world they returned to find. It involved a ton of hijinks and plenty of memorable moments from the Coven as they tried to reclaim what they lost centuries ago. The whole idea was that the witches needed to suck the life force from children to extend their life and make them younger. The cast has definitely aged in the years since the first movie, but I don't see any issues at all. They are playing beings that are centuries old, and they are back. That's all that matters. They might be older, but all 3 actresses are going to have a ball stepping back into their roles. They have never stopped loving these characters as much as us fans, who've come to love the classic film. For the sequel, they are sticking to the same formula, which will see the witches return after being resurrected, this time by 3 young women residing in Salem. The young women must then try to figure out how to stop the child-hungry witches from wreaking a new kind of havoc on the world. Currently, there is no information on the young women who will be the antagonists to the witches and our POV characters. It's also unknown if any of the original cast, who played the kids that defeated the witches the first time they reappeared in Salem, will have a part in this new adventure. Omari Katz, who played Max Dennison, the one responsible for resurrecting the witches, Thora Birch, who played his younger sister, Danny Dennison, and Vanessa Shaw, who played Allison, Max's crush, could all return. Even Doug Jones, who played Billy the Zombie, that became the children's ally and has ties to Winifred, could make an appearance. The only person who wouldn't necessarily have a reason to come back is Jason Marsden, who voiced Thackeray Binks since he finally found peace after centuries of being immortal. I wouldn't rule them out just yet, unless they wanted a clean slate and decided to just focus on the new characters. It wouldn't be surprising if any of the 3 kids, who are now grown-ups, are related to the new characters in some way. Originally, they had Adam Shackman on board to direct, but he had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts with another Disney film he was set to direct. Coincidentally, another movie that has been dying for a sequel for years. Disenchanted, the sequel to Enchanted. Shackman is known for his work as a producer, writer, and directing a string of comedies like Cheaper by the Dozen 2, Bedtime Stories, and What Men Want, to name some of his filmography. Most of his films have been mixed critically, but overall, audiences have enjoyed them. He's handed over directing duties to Anne Fletcher, who he previously worked with, producing her feature film debut that made Channing Tatum a star, Step Up. Fletcher also directed 27 Dresses, and most recently, her most lauded film to date, Dumpling, with Jennifer Aniston and Daniel McDonnell. For me, both directors have a spotty record when it comes to their body of work, but that doesn't mean that they aren't the best people to oversee Hocus Pocus 2. I've personally enjoyed a number of their films and look forward to seeing what they're able to do in this follow-up. Shackman will still be attached as a producer and have a hand in the film as it goes through production. Let's not forget Anne D'Angelo, who will be scripting the movie. She has written for the NBC series Young Rock and the Comedy Central series Workaholics. The creative team for this project are all involved in shows and films that I've seen in the past, and I can only hope they manage to create a good movie. The first film isn't the best movie ever, but it is enjoyable, and despite being 28 years old, still holds up today. I just want to see the Sanderson sisters getting up to their old habits, and they have to give them another performance, like in the first film. If they do that, then I'm sure I'll enjoy this movie. If you're planning to see this on a big screen, no need. Disney is making this an exclusive to Disney Plus. So, another reason to keep your subscription, or at least sign up to see it once it has a release date. Honestly, I'm surprised they aren't putting this in cinemas, since it could make them some money at the box office. The original was a failure for the studio when it was released, but over the years, it's become a viable property, which has become a cult classic. I don't mind watching it on Disney Plus, as long as there is no extra charges added to watch it. Anyways, I couldn't be more happier with this news, that they have regrouped the old coven, and now we can see some movement happening over the coming months as they start shooting. Keep your eyes peeled on the channel for more news on Hocus Pocus 2. I'll do my best to cover any news released for the sequel. So, have you seen the original Hocus Pocus movie? And if you have, how excited are you to see the sequel? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways folks, that's all for now. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment below. And hey, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea. And that's okay. Just remember to take care and stay safe.